Hey everybody, I thought it'd be a good time to talk about what I call my Mallcrawler add-ons for my 2022 Wrangler Willys Edition JL 2-door. Jeeps are great for off-roading, but have some limitations such as storage or other modern add-ons such as wireless CarPlay. Here are some of the mods that I made that Jeep should consider, but ultimately I did for either practical or nice to haves. Some products are from Mopar, but some are from other third parties. All product links are below so you can investigate further for yourself if you wish to use. So this is the practical section. So the first one in this list is Mopar front air deflector. To start off with, the JL Wrangler is a brick into the wind. Several things you'll notice when you drive it is that the windshield is almost vertical. That means that all bugs at night will clog your windshield and you'll be cleaning it daily. I have also noticed, along with other folks, that you'll get rocks thrown up from the road by other vehicles that would chip your windshield because it's vertical. This Jeep only has 8,600 miles and the windshield is already chipped at the base, and the hood has small paint chips where rocks have actually been thrown, and it's taken its toll on the hood. That's why I added the Mopar front air deflector to help reduce the amount of rock collisions and the bug sacrifices that windshields get when I drive at night. I can report that the bugs have been less since I've installed it, and I haven't had a rock hit since I installed it. I'll let you know. Up next is my Mishimoto baffled oil catch can. No, this is not a hot rod. Why do I need an oil catch can? Although I chose a 2-liter inline-4 dual overhead cam direct injection turbo due to the increased torque and skinny pedal ability, I am concerned about carbon buildup. The story here is that the direct injection is different from port injection, as direct injection is directly above the cylinder, whereas port injection is to the side. Port injection injects the gasoline on the back side of the valve train, thus cleaning the valves as gasoline is a natural solvent. Because of the injector positioning, direct injection does not have this solvent cleaning action on the valve and the oil blowback which occurs in all engines, whether direct injection or port injection through the PCV valve, as oil vapor is then routed back to the intake manifold and the intake valves. This is not an issue with port injection, as the gasoline again keeps it clean, but with the direct injection, this will begin to build up on the intake valves. Now, there are methods to clean it, and some manufacturers will tell you don't worry about it. How do you prevent the oil blowback going through a PCV valve? Oil catch can. The Mishimoto can I chose is baffled, but does not contain any kind of steel wool fibers, which can cause their own problems if not managed. At every oil change, just simply have the Mishimoto emptied. I believe this will extend the life of the 2.0 direct inject engine. Next up is wireless CarPlay. This is the default unit that comes with the Sport S, which is the underlying trim of the Willys. And you've got your default USB connectors that you can connect in, USB-C or USB-A, and this allows you to plug in your phone to your head unit so that the unit itself will play CarPlay. But how do you get around that? Because again, I don't like having a bunch of wires sticking out. So what I did is I went down the path of getting a wireless CarPlay from Otree. So Otree itself is just an adapter that you plug in to your USB-C or USB-A, and it's based on Android. And what it does is it projects your Apple CarPlay through the USB device to your radio. Maybe 10-15 seconds for the actual device to boot completely up. So in other words, your normal cycle of cranking your motor, turning the AC on, that kind of stuff. Once that's done, boom, it's connected. You have wireless CarPlay. Now the device is Wi-Fi itself, and your phone's going to have the Wi-Fi turned on. You cannot have your phone plugged into the default Jeep head unit through Bluetooth. So this requires 2 channels. You have to have the Wi-Fi connected to the device, and you also have to have the Bluetooth connected to the device itself. If you do not do that and you leave the Bluetooth connected, it will do some really strange things. If you receive a phone call, it will drop your audio and actually reboot the device itself. So it does some really strange stuff. So, like I said, this resolves the wireless CarPlay, and it made me happy.
So one of the complaints that most people have once they hop into a JL Wrangler is, where do I store my stuff at? It's like Jeep didn't even have a concept past some cup holders where you actually store some stuff. Most modern folks I know, are packing a cell phone. In case of a Jeep, you're always going to have a GoPro or something. So how do you overcome some of these things? Well, luckily, there's some third-party options. So the first one I'm going to show you is from a company called Savicar. I'll have all the links down below, but it's this device right here. And this literally goes into your oh crap bar and gives it just this awesome factory look, and have the ability to store, a cell phone or, something that won't fly out inside this little spot. I know my wife, as soon as I showed her this, she's like, "Oh, I can put my cell phone there." I'm like, "Yes, you can," because honestly, if you put your keys in there, which I believe that's what Jeep wanted you to do, you're not even have a spot to even put your cell phone, because you might like, well, a cell phone could go right here. Doesn't really go there. If you put it there, it's going to fly out when you take off. Speaking of cell phones, so this next one here is a product called Bullet Point. It's a bullet point phone holder, and it's a dash mount. It goes into the dash console up here. So you take this piece of plastic out, and you literally screw it in. It's made by veterans. It's veteran owned, and you're actually benefiting some veterans in order to help them out and support their causes. So again, this allows you to place your cell phone. Once you've got the cell phone there, you can rotate the connection around any direction you want, and you can also angle this up if you want to, depending upon your read height. I like mine sideways. It just takes up a lot less, let's say, real estate in the windshield. So, but yeah, that's a great option. I'm very glad I went with that.
Next up on my nice to haves is my spiderweb shade. When the soft top is down on the sunny days, it can get very hot in the Jeep. You can raise the top again into pagoda mode, but there's an easier way. You can install spiderweb shade. This installs over the front seats to block a majority of the sun and shade you and your passenger. To be honest, it's my favorite Mallcrawler option. The unit installs easily. They include these metal pieces that screw into existing screws that are in the sports bar, as well as the windshield and the row bar. And the spider shade has got bungee cords that attaches directly to those devices, and then the spider shade just pulls tight to those pins. The only issue that I found with the spider shade is at the very back. It does flap as you drive down the road, and that's solved by just simply putting a slit in the spider shade and attaching a bungee cord to the back of the sports bar.
So out of all the options on my Jeep that are what I call my Mallcrawler options, this one by far has generated the most discussion for folks. Is the eject button. It's literally it's just a 12-volt charging port, but you can rip off the cover, which is what I've done, and then put this filler plug in there and make it look like a really cool eject button. You can tell all your friends, this is how I kicked my wife out of the Jeep, or your husband, or whatever else. I bought it as a joke for my wife. Like I'm always telling her, I'm going to eject you out of the Jeep. So, but yeah, it's a joke, but it's a really cool thing. And again, it just adds little touches that, it always makes you feel at home whenever you're inside your vehicle. So,
I hope you guys have enjoyed the Mallcrawler options for my 2022 Jeep Wrangler Willys Edition. I hope this was informative for you, and if you have any questions, drop me a line and I'll answer if I can. Thanks, and don't forget to like and subscribe.